Και όλες, καλή χρονιά. Είμαι Αντώνης Καφά, επίκουρος καθηγητής εκπαιδευτικής ηγεσίας εδώ στο Πανεπιστήμιο Κύπρου και σας καλωσορίζουμε στην απόψινή μας εκδήλωση, την πρώτη για το 2024, που συνδιοργανώνεται από το Μεταπτυχιακό πρόγραμμα Educational Leadership and Policy του Ανοικτού Πανεπιστημίου Κύπρου και τον Κυπριακό Όμιλο Εκπαιδευτικής Διοίκησης. Με μεγάλη χαρά καλωσορίζουμε την καθηγήτρια Orly Shapira ως την απόψινή ομιλήτρια από το Πανεπιστήμιο Bar-Ilan του Ισραήλ και η οποία θα μας παρουσιάσει τη διάλεξή της με τίτλο How to Retain Quality Teachers, International Ethical Perspectives for Teacher Professional Growth. Επιτρέψτε μου να καλωσορίσω την αγαπητή συνάδελφο και να διαβάσω λίγα λόγια για το έργο της στα αγγλικά. Dear Professor Shapira, dear Orly, a very warm welcome to Cyprus.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I will now read a few words about you, and then we can proceed with the presentation. Professor Orly Shapira is the head of the Institute for Social Integration at Bar-Ilan University in Israel. Her research focuses on the relationships between perceptions of organizational ethics and teachers' retention, and their withdrawal behaviors such as tardiness, absences, turnover, and attrition. Her work explores the development of ethical codes in international educational systems through leadership strategies and team simulations. Her recent studies compare different educational systems in the world. Professor Shapira's research has been published in leading international academic journals focusing on educational leadership and administration. Her research has also been funded by different foundations, including the Marie Curie and the Israeli Ministry of Education, and she has lectured at prestigious international conferences. Also, Professor Shapira serves as an expert for research services for the European Commission and was a visiting scholar at different universities out of Israel, such as Harvard University, Michigan State University, and also a research scholar at the State University of New York in Albany. Dear Orly, thank you once again. It's a pleasure to have you here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So I will start to share something personal. I was a chemistry teacher in high school, and I was offered a unique opportunity to lead a mentoring program as a partial job. So I asked my school principals to get a permission to do it. However, she told me, only choose. You need to choose between leading mentoring program and between school, because I've got plenty of teachers who's got additional rules, and I need teacher here in school 5 days a week. So it was one of my most difficult decisions, and then I decided to go to the mentoring program. And in this point of time, I think that this critical event cues me to investigate teacher withdrawal behavior, not student withdrawal behavior, teacher withdrawal behavior like lateness, absenteeism, turnover, and how to retain teacher. And also it cues me to investigate how can you make the education system more flexible. So in this presentation, I will focus on theoretical background of teacher retention, teacher professional growth, and also consider different strategies in order to increase teacher retention. I know that in Cyprus, you don't have got a problem of teacher shortage as in Israel or other country. However, we have got a share problem in huge number of countries, the issue of how to retain high quality teachers. and we talk about high quality teacher, I believe that there are different definitions of what is it high quality teacher. So if someone wants to say here what is for him as a high quality teacher, what is the definition? Someone want to share?
Maybe if someone from the audience can write at the chat if someone wants to add something.
So we can do it hybrid.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, till we find a response, in order to do the brainstorming, so I use the ChatGPT, and I ask the ChatGPT, what is the difference between effective teachers, quality teacher, and high quality teacher? Okay, and then the answer was why on achieving learning outcome, quality teacher is a broad range of skills that foster a positive learning environment, and the high quality teacher set an even higher benchmark, excelling significantly in their expertise, teaching methodologies, student outcome, and impact within the educational community. And so we see that there is the effective teacher, it's like management school, and there is quality teacher, which is something more, it's to take care of positive learning environment, and the higher level, it's high quality teacher, which excelling, and we can, and then I continue ask the ChatGPT, please define effective teacher, and the answer was effective teachers are primarily concerned with achievement learning outcome. While I asked what is the definition of quality teacher, then the answer was these teachers are beyond just being effective in achieving learning outcome. They create a positive learning environment and supporting student growth and focusing on ongoing professional development. And the definition, according to the ChatGPT, about high quality teacher is that they are excelling significantly in various aspects of education. They focus on creative teaching, they tailor their teaching to suit individual student needs, and their students demonstrate remarkable performance and critical thinking skills, and they contribute significantly to the school community, serving as leader and mentoring and so on. So in this presentation, we focus on not how to retain teacher. We focus on how to retain high quality teacher, and this is the problem of a huge number of countries. So I continue, yeah? So here, see? Mm-hmm. Okay. So after we define that we are talking about to keep the quality high teacher, then we want to, in this presentation, when we talk about teacher retention, we agree that we are talking about keeping the high quality teacher in their system in an active way in their schools, and also to ensure their long-term commitment that they will stay in our school and bring productive, and so on. And why is teacher retention important? I think that we all know that, and sometimes we forget, the teacher have got other opportunity, and especially the high quality teacher, they can move to other school if they don't get what they want in our school, or they can find other platform to work as educator, and of course they can even choose to leave educational system. So it's important because they can leave us, and it's very hard that they will leave us because we investigate huge resources to train teacher, budget, effort, time. And if we investigate all these resources, we want to get back and that they will return in the system. And it's also an issue, not only the issue of a school level or national level, it's also a global issue because the global economy is based on quality education, which provided by high quality teachers. So we need to keep high quality teachers in the system. Most of the time, when we investigate, if you Google about teacher retention, you don't find a lot of study. However, you will find a huge study discussing teacher attrition. I know that it doesn't work in Cyprus. However, in a different country, there is a U-shaped curve, which means that in the first 5 years there is a huge attrition of a new teacher, and in the end of the career. Can you say why do you think that that's what is going on in other countries? Why there is a huge attrition in the first 5 years of the teacher and when they very tenure? Do you've got any idea why it's like that? Yes.
Maybe during the first year, the teachers face the difficulty of learning how to cope with being a teacher and trying to master all the relevant skills. For some time they're okay with that, but then comes the fatigue of working these long hours and being in a stressful environment, so they try and find other options.
And in the end of their career, where they leave?
I didn't realize it was the end of their career.
This is the years of experience.
The 15th or
yeah, something like this.
Maybe it's because of the fatigue and the continuous struggling with stress and pressure for results and dealing with everything besides teaching.
Okay, so you want to say something?
Thank you.
Okay, so in addition, and what you suggest, we explained that in the first 5 years, the teachers are not, they're still not obligated. In Israel, in order to get a tenure in the school, you need to pass 3 years. So in this case, in the first 5 years, they are still not obligated to the system, and they're checking other opportunity. And sometimes it's more, the salary is higher, more flexibility, so they are moving in their first 5 years. However, as you suggest, as the years of experience increase, there's a lot of burnout, and they quit school. So most of the study focused on teacher attrition, not on teacher retention, and this is unique of this presentation, to focus on to return high quality teachers. When we investigate teacher retention, we find that there is a relationship with teacher professional growth. And what is teacher professional growth? It's a journey when teachers develop their knowledge, skill, and practice throughout their career. And actually, when we want to define what is teacher professional growth, we find 4 main dimensions. lifelong learning, which means that the teacher, from internal motivation, he wants to engage in learning experience. For example, to learn how to mentor a teacher. And also reflective practice, which means that the teacher take time to think about their teaching method, perception, attitude, behaviors, and of course, adaptive to change. Teachers must adjust themselves to different education environment and technology, because if not, or let's say teachers want to be relevant, and professional development, the teacher actively participate in workshops, courses, and conferences in order to develop themselves. And why is professional growth important? Of course, we want to build the future generation of educational leaders. So it's to build the future generation of leadership. And of course, we want to contribute to teacher personal and professional satisfaction. And we want to promote effective teaching, learning, and student outcome. Of course, this is one of our main goals, the issues of students. I think that the unique of this presentation is that we focus on the socio-ecological model, which gives a systematic approach of the issue of teacher retention. And when we talk about teacher, most of the time we can define this teacher as mid-level leader, and especially when we're talking with high-quality teacher. Most of the teacher, what is the definition of mid-level leader? It's not teacher who teach in middle school. It's teacher that they are in the school hierarchy, they are between the school management and the teacher. Actually, most of the time, the role is to coordinate grade, school level, or to coordinate subject area. And so they've got, in addition to being only teacher. And actually, when we consider how to retain high-quality teacher, which refer to mid-level leader, we need to consider different level. For example, interpersonal. For example, the huge challenge in class, consider discipline problem, or whether I've got a support relationship with my colleagues, which this is the interpersonal level. We also may consider the organization level, which means the relationship between the mid-level leader and his school principals, whether there is trust relationship, whether there is a support relationship. We also, and of course, if there is a support relationship, we accept that the teacher will retain in the school. We also consider the community level, which refer to relationship with parents, whether this relationship reflects involvement of parents or intervention of parents. And of course, public policy, whether the relationship is top-down or the relationship is down-top. So all these factors may affect teacher retention. And when we consider all this level in the same time, then it gives us much more systematic approach in order to keep the high-quality teacher in the system, which may define also as mid-level leader. Just to give an international perspective, we find teacher shortage, especially in STEM subject, science, technology, engineering, and math subject, and in peripheral area, and school associated with low socioeconomic status, and it's referred to United States, UK, Australia, Canada, and Switzerland. But it's different. For example, in Israel, in peripheral area, we don't have got teacher shortage. We've got teacher shortage in the center of Israel. And when I asked my colleague why, they told me that because in peripheral area, in order to encourage teachers to live in this area, they've got extra budget to your salary. So therefore, this is one reason that in peripheral area, we don't have got teacher shortage. Okay, we've got in the center of Israel because this extra budget to the salary, they don't refer because a lot of people want to live in the center of Israel. And let's, I will describe few studies consider teacher attention. And I took the latest one after COVID. And so we find a study conducted about 12,000 teachers from about 4,000 schools in 61 countries. We find that school culture contribute positively to teacher attention. We also find that in the New York State, involving 160 educational staff members, the study found that leadership characterized by support contribute to the retention of quality teacher in rural area, because a lot of teachers want to live in New York City, in rural area. However, to convince them to stay in rural area, the supporting leadership helps them to stay in this rural area. And for example, another study in Sweden among about 6,000 elementary school teachers. In this study, they found that teacher retention is explained by conductive work environment, positive environment, motivation, and colleague support. So we see that the leadership and trust and the school environment are a critical factor to retain teacher, and of course, high-quality teacher. I think that one of the unique aspect in this presentation, it's not only focused on teacher retention and not on teacher tuition. And it's not only to focus on the systematic approach of the socio-economical model, it's also consider the issue of gender. I find that in most studies that they focus on teacher retention, they don't focus about the issue of gender. However, we must to consider the issue of gender, because teacher in huge number of countries is considered a pink profession with a huge number of female. For example, number in public school in the United States, about 76% are female. In the United Kingdom, 76%. In Canada, 81% are female. And in Israel, 82%. I'm talking about the average because this statistic is varied by educational level, subject, and sector. For example, we find that as the education level increase, elementary, middle, and high school, then we find more men and more men school principals as the higher, as the school level increase. And of course, in subject, for example, we find more teacher men in STEM subject than in social field and sector. For example, in Israel, in the ultra-Orthodox sector, we find more men than women. So this is the number, but in the average, if these are the number, we've got more women than men, then when we want to retain teacher, we need to consider the gender aspect. But the context, when we talk about general context, we are talking on a clear wage gap between men and women in different professions. And we found that a significant number of females also engage in unpaid labor, such as household management and family care, in addition to their career, for example, in our context, female teacher and the career in education. So we need to consider this context. And so if this is the context, and we need to consider the gender aspect, then I wanted this meeting, it not only be theoretical, but to give some strategy how we can increase teacher retention. So in this case, we should consider the gender aspect, and for example, to adopt gender-sensitive approach. What does it mean? It means that when we lead decision-making in order to increase teacher retention, we need to take data. For example, female teacher versus male teacher consider partial job in school. For example, in Israel, sometimes women teacher want full position in school. However, they suggest only partial job because they want to keep the men in the system, and so they suggest the men full position, while the women suggest partial job. So this is one issue that we should consider, men versus women teacher, and it also consider rule in school to coordinate, it increases salary. So we need to find out how many men in each school get rule that increase their salary, versus women. And this is the salary issue is also may use to teacher retention or not. And of course, to ensure female representation in decision making. For example, there is a huge problem, international problem, that women, when they are going to maternity leave, they continue with their maternity leave even if they are unpaid. And it's used shortage of teachers in different countries. So if we share women in decision making, how to encourage women to return to the education system after they finish their maternity leave, then we may increase the retention of teachers, of women teachers. So this is only strategy, how can we retain a mid-level leader or female mid-level leader. Consider the gender aspect, and I look for studies that focus on retention and gender, and it's something that's unique. And so this is one issue. Now, what can we do in order to increase the retention of high-quality teachers and their professional growth? For example, we may consider, you remember the socio-ecological model? So here are different strategies in different levels. Consider the individual level, the teacher. We are talking that the teacher, from his internal motivation, will increase his status or her status in the society, such as teacher as curriculum developer, leader in community process, mentor, and resources. I was in a delegation to Switzerland, and the salary of teachers there are very similar to physician and to life. And still, they choose not to be teacher because of the prestige of the other profession considered teaching. So it's not, what I mean to say that salary is important, but it's not only the salary issue, because we see a country that the salary considered high and still teachers prefer, or people prefer not to be teachers. So if we look for other countries like Singapore or Finland, in this case, there is not the problem of teacher retention. So what is the reason for this? The reason is that in their position as teacher, they've got additional, not only to teach, they also research, and they also develop curriculum, and they lead the process in the community, and they mentor part of their job. They also teach, but they also do additional and meaningful, and that use them to be motivated and not to be burned out. So teacher retention in this aspect, for example, curriculum development, mentor, and so on, it's referred to the lifelong learning dimension of professional growth. Or, for example, so we're talking about the individual level, and now let's talk about school level. What school principal can do in order to retain high-quality teachers. So we are talking about organized forum and dialogue cycles in order to reflect practice, to get support for other colleagues, which refer to reflective practice, the dimension, one of the dimensions of professional growth. Also, one issue that school principal can do to allow teachers to express their uniqueness by leading mentoring process, not taking external mentors, to take the teacher to lead process, maybe to train him to do it. And this refers to the lifelong learning of professional growth. Additional aspect, provide reward for innovative teacher and teacher teams, which refer to professional development, improving physical working conditions. For example, in Israel, there is a huge problem that teachers feel that they don't have places to meet parents. So to organize working conditions that they feel that they can work in a way that they can fit in the right way. So this is adapting to change, one of the dimensions of professional growth, and of course, related to gender, in the level of school principals, increasing female teacher salary. What does it mean? Not to increase in a way, but I mean that as to give them opportunity of job, for example, coordinator, that increase their salary, and of course to consider the unique needs of teacher. For example, to feed a school hour to one's family study. Such, for example, if she's a teacher with small kids, then to feed the schedule, the teaching schedule to her special need, which refer to the dimension of adapting to change of professional growth. Now I want to show you something that we are doing on school level in our university, and you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to the Digital Media Labs here at the School of Education at Bar-Ilan University. The labs serve MA students, BA students, teachers in training, principals, vice principals, school counselors, and inspectors, up to 5,000 participants who come through the labs and utilize the facilities for simulation workshops and micro teaching. Follow me as I show you around. This is the control room. Come on, let's take a peek. This is where the studio technicians control the 3 main studio/classrooms. They control the cameras and record and broadcast sessions as needed. This is Studio B, one of the main studios where we record classroom simulations, larger group simulations, and instructional videos. This is Studio C, one of our smaller satellite simulation rooms, where we film one-on-one simulations and they're streamed so that the group watches them live as they occur. This is the head of the Media Lab's office, and it also serves as a station for graphic design. This is our editing room. Here, the lab staff create and edit short instructional videos based on common conflicts in education. The videos are free and can be viewed on YouTube or through our website. And we also have a viewing station here for guests who want to come and watch the workshop and can switch between what's happening in each studio and watch live. Now that you've seen our digital media lab, we invite you to take a look at one of our other videos that explains more in depth how we use the lab to connect students and practice.
So we talk about individual level, we talk about school level to organize this group, and also we are talking now about the level of Ministry of Education, and for example, of to collaborate between Ministry of Education and university to find excellent students and to sponsor their studies. And actually in Israel we are doing it. It's a project of Nachshonim, which means that they sponsor by Ministry of Education. They're doing most of the time to do BA and MA. It's taking about 6 years. And here the excellent student, they're doing BA and MA in 4 years because they are very excellent. And these teachers are our leader. After 1 year, they become coordinator. Okay, after 4 years, they become school principals. They are, because we find the excellent student by collaboration between Ministry of Education and the university. And consider as a strategy on Ministry of Education, we find that the Ministry of Education start a project, and then because of political change, they are not continuing with this project, and teachers feel that they are tired. They start some project and they don't finish it, so it's burnout there. So we need to define project and to declare that whatever will happen, we are working on it and we will not finish it, because most of the teachers say that they burn out when they start something and it's all the time changing. Rising teacher status. For example, in other profession, you go abroad and you see how does it work in other countries. In Israel, we start to promote educational tourism, which means that you take educational leaders from college, from school, and then I was in delegation in Switzerland, and it was so meaningful because we understand how does it work in another country, and we share similar challenges, and to see how does it work in other country. It's everyone, when they come, they feel so meaningful. So this is increased the status of teacher, like as a profession, go conference abroad. Also, teacher, we should do it. We should continue to do it. And most of the teachers feel, a lot of teachers feel that they are not rewarded about their extra work at home. So to find a way to reward teacher work at home. And the additional aspect, allowing teacher to take day off beyond the regular vacation day with advance notice. In special education in Israel, teacher, there is a vacation, like during this semester, or whatever, that you need to take a vacation. However, teacher, if they want to take a vacation in other period, they cannot. So to allow them to take day off, because if not, they will declare this day as a illness. So to give them the flexibility to choose the day there, and they return it back in other options. And of course, flexibility in teacher, especially in middle and high school. For example, when the teacher compare his work to work in the public sector, we find out that in the same salary, or even in higher salary, he can work from home as part of his time and also in the workplace. However, in school, we need to be 5 days a week. So, to flexible the teaching, especially in higher level, middle school and high school, to allow the option of hybrid teaching, online and face-to-face. All this, most of this dimension relate to adapting to change, one of the dimensions of professional growth. And on the policy level, state level, for example, in order to encourage women teachers return to the state, to return to the system after their maternity leave, to sponsor their children in early childhood care, or to give them other grant that they will encourage them to return to the system and not accused to teacher shortage. And flexibility teaching, we talk about it, also to get the permission of state level. Some superintendent told me to make the school, especially high school and middle school, like university, which make it hybrid teaching, online and face-to-face, and of course, to design economic policy and legal reform that equalize parental right for both father and mother. I know that it's also in Cyprus, however, to work on it, and that it not only be policy, but also will be in practice. So all these strategies relate to adaptive change of professional growth. So to summarize, we may say that a strategy for teacher retention based on the socio-ecological model, which refer to systematic approach, demonstrate there is a relationship between teacher retention and professional growth based on the socio-ecological model. And we may lead effective teacher retention and teacher professional growth when it will encourage by supportive leadership. And we promote this process, for example, by team-based simulation training. And here I want to show you additional short movie. What we are doing in our leadership program.
There are many ways that we use the digital media labs. For example, as part of the curriculum in the Department of Educational Leadership and Administration, students participate in simulation workshops. In these workshops, each student develops scenarios related to subjects such as leadership and management in education, and then presents them to the the end of the 5-minute simulation, the students return to the classroom and the student who wrote the scenario leads the class in an inquiry, selecting specific segments of the video to show and to critically reflect on. The students also give feedback to each other using their smartphones. The process, including the simulation and the debriefing, takes between 30 and 45 minutes. At the end of the process, the student who led the session gets their role-play and inquiry on a USB flash drive and then uses them to write their final assignment for the course. In summary, the use of simulations provides an important opportunity for trainees, school leaders, supervisors, teachers, trainees, teachers, to experience and decide on responses without worrying about time constraints and the possibility of hurting someone. The supporting, forgiving environment also gives support to trainees in handling resistance from other team members and constructively considering conflicting opinions. By integrating simulations into the curriculum of training programs, trainees have the opportunity to reflect on their actions in a supportive environment and understand that this is an important step in truly becoming exemplary educators and leaders.
So this is what we are doing in our university in order to prepare our student to the challenge in the education system with this role-playing. And there is plenty of scenario. Most of the time, our students in the MA program, most of them are already teachers or a mid-level leader, so they develop the scenario. And here is one example. It's appearing in my book. For example, this is what's shown in the book. However, we are talking about a high school teacher, chemistry teacher, and she's also a coordinator. And based on COVID, she wants to continue teaching in hybrid way, not only online, but she wants to know how to do it, and she tried to convince her school principal that her teacher will be hybrid. Part of the lesson will be face-to-face, and part of the lesson will be online. However, the school principal is very traditional, and he wanted the teacher be in the school and also in the high school. So now the scenario is between the role playing is between the school principal, who know that if he will not convince her to teach in school, then because in the Israeli system, for example, there is teacher shortage, so other school will take her to teach in hybrid way, which you will left without this good teacher. And you know that she can move to another school or even leave the profession to go to other, because as we know in the public sector you can get sometimes higher salary, which is more flexible, working from home and working in the workplace. And so the school principal is the traditional one, and the teacher has got other opportunity, and then is the meeting how we are going to do a win-win situation. So this is this is one example of scenario. So So, to find a summary, I believe that we need to combine forces involving leaders from various fields, such as academia, policymaker and practitioner as we are now, and to retain, educator, and develop teacher professional growth. Thank you so much.
So, dear Orly, thank you so much. Very interesting presentation. We are now open for discussion. Μπορείτε τώρα να υποβάλλετε τις ερωτήσεις σας, είτε γραπτώς εδώ στο chat, είτε να σηκώσετε το χέρι σας. Ένα λεπτό να σας δώσουμε και πρόσβαση στο ήχο. Παρακαλώ. Έχουμε στείλει και το πιστοποιητικό συμμετοχής, το σύνδεσμο με το πιστοποιητικό συμμετοχής. Παρακαλώ. Έχουμε μία ερώτηση από το κοινό εδώ που συμμετέχει. Παρακαλώ.
I would like to thank you very much, Orly, for coming here to share your insights with us, and also I would like to thank the Open University of Cyprus for organizing this talk. I very much like your layered approach to retaining teachers, so I really appreciate that. But I'm a bit puzzled about the word ethical into your title. International ethical perspectives on teacher professional growth. So I would like to speak a bit more about how it is you understand ethical and why it is you chose this word to put it on your title.
Because based on my experience, when I ask my students, which are already teacher in the education system, what cues them to retain or retreat from school, they all the time describe a scenario related to the tension between values. For example, be discretive versus the need to report, or principles support, which is a value, versus additional value, because I find out that the retention is related to tension between values, and when teachers don't know how to deal with it, then it cues them to think about the tendency to leave. Okay? For example, even the story that I start with, I think that it's also an ethical issue. Okay, there is the professional growth, which is a value, it's an ethical value, versus school needs. So there is a tension. So to summarize, the cases relate to ethical tension, cues to leave school, or if you know how to deal with them, it cues to stay in school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ωραία, κάποια άλλη ερώτηση, παρακαλώ.
Thank you for your presentation. It was very interesting. I was wondering whether there is data to support that the teachers that actually leave the profession are the high quality ones, or it could be that they are the unsuccessful ones. Is there any data to suggest or to link or correlate between people leaving and their quality or their performance?
I think that it's very important, the issue that you describe now, and it's may design my future study, because most of the time when you investigate teacher attrition, it's the number of teachers that retreat there are, and we find at the beginning there's a huge definition of what is the definition of high quality teacher. So, for example, we won by the Israeli Ministry of Science and Innovation a grant, and it's about 150,000 euro to take all the big data of Ministry of Education and to investigate how can we retain teachers. And based on your suggestion, it not will be only to predict teacher attrition and to predict teacher retention, it's to predict high quality attrition and retention. And we need, therefore, it will be a mixed method. And based on your suggestion, we will define, based on the qualitative part by the interview, how you define high quality teacher, and then based on this definition, we can investigate teacher attrition or teacher retention in general, and also consider the high quality teacher. And I think that it's a very innovative, because in most of the study, it's teacher turnover. They don't consider the quality issue. And I believe that it's very unique approach. Thank you.
Ωραία. Κάποιος άλλος, κάποια άλλη που θα ήθελε να υποβάλει κάποια ερώτηση, κάποιο σχόλιο ίσως. Ωραία. Λοιπόν, έχουμε να αποστείλει το πιστοποιητικό συμμετοχής. Παρακαλώ, ο Πρίτανης. Εντάξει, ο κύριος Κωνσταντής, παρακαλώ.
Thank you, Orly, very much, as always. I am intrigued by one of your suggestions that the Ministry of Education could offer flexibility in teaching. And one of your suggestions, of course, has to do with what we've been through COVID and flexibility, online hybrid teaching, etc. I really like this idea. However, I'm wondering how it could be done in reality. Let's say some of the teachers go hybrid or go online, teaching from home. That gives them some flexibility. How about the students? Do they get teaching from home? Then what happens to the parents if they're working? How do we deal with societal issues that are being created on this issue?
So when I talk about the flexibility for hybrid teaching, I mentioned that we're talking about high level, which means from the seventh grade, student can stay at home alone.
Okay.
Or in a high school, student can stay at home alone. So hybrid teaching, I'm not talking about elementary school. I'm talking about middle and high school.
You mentioned that.
And moreover, I think that it's, I know that it's make use a problem that part of the lesson in the same day, part of the lesson are face-to-face, and part of the lesson are hybrid. But however, you can schedule your their day, for example, in high school on Thursday. All the teaching in school will be online in high school. So it's okay, they stay at home. And it's good for them not to be all the days I believe that it also make motivation and energy not to be 6 days a week at school. One day in higher education, in high school, it's okay to stay and to study all the subject at home. And I think that the issue of flexibility, it's so important, especially in educational system. Even the issue, for example, in Israel, I will give you an example. A lot of teachers are teaching, in addition to their teaching in school, private lesson. Okay, so they're doing it.
Here also.
However, they are not formally. They are not allowed to do it. In order to get the permission to work more than your full job, you need to get a confirmation from the Ministry of Education, and it's a huge pattern. It's a huge process. There is the lawyer of the Ministry of Education, and when you say, "Oh, well, it's such a huge problem," or I'm doing it without asking, or I will not do it because I don't get inside. However, if the teacher, in addition to their stable job in school, they will do additional job that don't use damage to the school, it will increase their salary, so they will be much more satisfied. And they will do, for example, mentoring. They will give them much more motivation. They are not only teachers, they are also mentors, they are also researchers. So I believe that the main issue is flexibility, and it won't damage anyone.
Ωραία, ευχαριστούμε. Έχουμε ένα σχόλιο. As you can see here, we have a comment from Maria Zeniu. Thank you very much for your inspiring presentation. I hope these ideas have been translated in policies and teachers' lives more engaging and rewarding. Thanks again.
Thank you, Maria.
So, dear Orly, on behalf of everyone, thank you very much. Ευχαριστούμε όλους και όλες για την παρουσία σας. Ευχόμαστε καλή χρονιά. Να ενημερώσουμε ότι η βιντεοσκοπημένη συνάντηση θα αναρτηθεί στην ιστοσελίδα του ΚΟΕΔ και στο κανάλι YouTube. Ευχαριστούμε ακόμη μια φορά όλους και όλες. Καλό βράδυ και καλή χρονιά.
Thank you.